Well, welcome back. It's 12:30 now. We're on 5 News Plus. Very seamless transition there, I'd like to say.
Oh, I didn't even get a nameplate.
Well,
So that's Emily Moss. I'm untitled meteorologist. It's okay.
they don't need you.
That's right. They don't need to know my name. It's just that pale fellow on the
Yeah,
screen that
yeah.
points at the wall. So yeah, speaking of the pale fellow that talks about or points at the wall, why don't we talk about the weather a little bit, right? We'll tell you what's going on. Hey, there's my nameplate. Thanks, guys. I'm Danny Cassie. This is Emily Moss, and yeah, we're about to go through a half hour of news and weather with you, and let's get on with the weather here. We'll show you what's going on for us across the region this afternoon. A little bit of sunshine now starting to peek through. You can see those clouds that were pretty pesky earlier today are now starting to kind of subside a little bit. Are we going to see a ton of sunshine? Depending on where you are, you can see quite a bit there now in Ozark. This was actually just about 15 minutes ago. We were seeing, or a half hour ago, I should say, pretty stubborn clouds, and now we're seeing more sunshine there. So the skies are opening up a little bit for us, and that's due to some warmth and a little bit of some winds. You see temperatures right now in the mid to upper 50s in northwest Arkansas, though 61 in Fayetteville. The River Valley mainly in the upper 50s and lower 60s. You can see 66 in Poto, 63 in Waldron, so a pretty warm afternoon for us, and some in the River Valley could get close to 70. I do think we'll be in the 60s area-wide for northwest Arkansas. And for low temperatures tonight, they're going to be pretty mild. We're going to be in the mid to upper 50s, maybe even 60s in Poto. Now note, our normal lows are in the upper 20s and low 30s, and we're about 25 degrees above that across the area, close to 30 degrees above that in areas like Poto and Waldron. For tomorrow, high temperatures will be, again, pretty warm, about 25 degrees above normal, mid-70s for most of us.
Well, new at noon, the Trump administration is ramping up its blockade of sanctioned oil tankers entering or leaving Venezuela as members of both parties in Congress raise questions about whether the United States might be headed for war. Erica Brown has more.
A U.S. official tells CBS News the Coast Guard is in active pursuit of a third oil tanker connected to Venezuela. It comes after the U.S. military seized a second tanker over the weekend that the White House says was, quote, operating as part of the Venezuelan shadow fleet to traffic stolen oil.
This is another ship that was basically operating in the black market.
The Venezuelan government condemned the tanker's seizure, calling it a serious act of piracy. This latest escalation comes as the Trump administration accused Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, and his government of trafficking drugs into the United States. Last week, President Trump announced a blockade of sanctioned vessels going into or out of Venezuela. And in an interview Friday, he would not rule out a war against the country, raising concerns from lawmakers.
I consider it a provocation and a prelude to war, and I hope we don't go to war with Venezuela.
We should be using sanctions and other tools at our disposal to punish this dictator who is violating the human rights of his civilians.
But other lawmakers are backing the White House's pressure campaign against the Maduro government.
I support the idea of standing up to Maduro, and I want him to go.
A CBS News poll last month found most Americans are against military action in Venezuela, with 73% of those surveyed saying the Trump administration has not clearly explained the U.S. position on the matter. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Developing still this afternoon, scary moments at a Fort Smith pediatric dental office after a car hit their building. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. 5 News anchor Tiffany Lee is there and shows us the damage.
It was a very scary morning here at Riley Farm Dental as this car right here crashed into the side of the building earlier this morning. You can see shattered windows, siding, insulation, giving staff and patients alike quite a scare on this Monday morning. Around 10:30 this morning, a car crashed into Riley Farm Dental. Jeremy Nieder, captain at Station 8 with Fort Smith Fire, says that the driver accidentally hit the accelerate instead of the brake. The car hit where a bathroom is. One patient was inside at the time, but was able to walk out of the bathroom unharmed.
100% this is the best case scenario for what happened. In the room where the impact hit, there was literally just one void, and that's where that child was.
Fort Smith Fire, along with Fort Smith Police, were out on scene, along with contractors and people from the city checking in on the building. Now, they did continue operations as normal throughout the morning, and they will continue for the days to come as they plan to rebuild within the next few weeks. In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Tiffany Lee, 5 News.
Thanks, Tiffany. Well, police are investigating a deadly shooting from over the weekend in Fort Smith. It happened on North 11th Street between Garrison and Grand Avenues. Police confirm one person was killed. The victim's identity has not been released and no suspect information is available at the time. We'll continue to update the story as more information becomes available on our website at 5newsonline.com. Today, people in Prairie Grove are voicing concerns as county leaders prepare to vote on a proposed concrete mixing plant near their neighborhood. Residents say the proposed plant could change the character of their community. They're concerned about increased traffic, air quality, and runoff into nearby creeks that feed into the Illinois River. Neighbors say the site is surrounded by homes with dozens of families living within a half of a mile. Many worry the project could affect their health, the environment, and everyday life.
Our point is that it doesn't belong in a residential neighborhood. We have a lot of concern about the pollution that will go into that creek.
Everything will run right off into that. And the property line is in that tree line down there, and that's a creek that feeds into the Muddy Fork, which feeds the Illinois River. Very, very frustrated. We feel like our rights, have been violated.
The proposal will be considered during the special meeting at the Washington County Courthouse tonight at 6 o'clock. Residents plan to attend and present a petition with more than 1,000 signatures urging county leaders to deny the request. We have not heard back from the project's developer. Today, the Bentonville City Council will vote on a fee that could impact developers. The city says the wastewater system has reached its limits and an expansion is needed. Developers, builders, and property owners starting new projects that increase wastewater flow would be required to pay a proposed fee of over $7,800. That money would go towards funding improvements, including sewer lines 12 inches or larger. The city of Fayetteville is starting smoke testing on its sewer system today, continuing through tomorrow to check for leaks and cracks. Crews are testing areas in North Fayetteville, including Banashee Drive, Drake Street, and the Fulbright Expressway. Non-toxic smoke is forced through the sewer lines to locate defects and connections. Officials say the smoke is harmless and it won't enter homes unless plumbing is faulty. Residents do not need to be home during the testing. A reminder that today is the last day to help 5 News Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert and the entire 5 News team with our Coat for Christmas drive. It benefits the Salvation Army of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. You can find more details on drop-off sites at 5newsonline.com. And don't forget, there's still plenty of local fun happening this week in Fort Smith at Creekmore Park. You can take a ride on the Holiday Express and see the lights. The last day to ride the train is Saturday, December 27th, but the holiday lights will last through January 6th. In Bentonville, see the holiday lights on the square. There's also an ice skating rink downtown at Lauren Plaza that will be open from December 26th through the 31st. And in Fayetteville, you still have time to check out the lights of the Ozarks on the square. The lights will not turn off there until New Year's Day. Well, coming up, we hear from the CEO of ArcBest ahead of her retirement. More from her 16 years leading the company. There's more to come on 5 News Plus at noon in 2 minutes. Before we look outside, this time over Bentonville. It's 12:38. Stick with us. We'll be right back. After leading the company for 16 years, the CEO of one of the largest trucking companies in the United States is retiring. 5 News anchor Darren Baum tells us how she navigated the Fort Smith-based company out of one of the worst recessions in modern history. And it's a story you'll only see on 5 News.
It's a wonderful company filled with 14,000, employees, amazing people across the country.
Judy McReynolds first came to Arkansas Best Freight in 1997. She worked her way through the ranks and became CEO in 2010, which at the time, she says, was very challenging.
It was January of 2010, and we were in the depths of the Great Recession. And our company, as I walked into it, the previous year had lost $100 million, had about $1.5 billion in revenue, $100 million loss.
But as chief financial officer, McReynolds says she knew exactly what had to be done to emerge from those losses. They had to take better care of their customers.
What we recognized was we could serve them better if we were a logistics company that offered more than the LTL services that ABF offered. Those were great services, but they weren't fully responsive to the needs that our customers had.
So in 2017, Arkansas Best Freight became ArcBest. ArcBest is the parent company of ABF, along with other trucking firms that were acquired, including Panther Logistics. All those changes and acquisitions, she says, started to pay off a few years later.
In 2022, we had record results, $5 billion in revenue, net profit of nearly $300 million. Such a different time than the Great Recession and what we were encountering there. And again, it was because we had trusted relationships.
McReynolds says the company evolvement over the time she's been the CEO is what makes the company so unique.
One thing that's unique about ArcBest is that we have the logistics solutions, meaning we do full truckload or expedite those solutions, but we also kept the company that was our roots, ABF. And so we have 40,000 pieces of equipment. We've got 240 locations at ABF. And that is very useful when you have complexities and disruption in your environment.
She says she also recognizes how important the company is to Fort Smith and the entire River Valley.
It's really been important for us to stay connected to the community for so many reasons, but one of those reasons being talent resources. So we're very connected to the Fort Smith Public Schools, partner in education. We're very connected to higher education. UA Fort Smith in particular, we've hired over 500 people, from that university into our company. And we think across our company, it's important to be supportive of local initiatives and efforts to better the community. But in Fort Smith, it's just been a joy, I think, and a blessing for us to be able to be so involved.
McReynolds says she's going to miss the day-to-day operations.
It really has been inspiring to me to see what the work our people can do, and I'll miss that for sure. But I'm going to continue as chairman of the board, so I will still have an involvement. It'll just be, in a different way.
In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, I'm Darren Bobb, 5 News.
All right, let's take a live look outside this evening over Springdale, and it's 12:44. Traffic running smoothly there. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Well, we are just a few days away from Christmas, and Best Friends Animal Society is inviting the community to make room for one more guest when it comes to those celebrations. Linda DeBerry is here with us with a special guest.
Yes,
S'mores.
this is S'mores.
Hi, S'mores.
She's about almost a year old. She's available for adoption, and
She's so
she has
cute.
been a star today, I think.
Yes, she
She's been
has.
pretty good.
She was made for the camera.
I think so.
So one thing that's so neat about S'mores is this holiday season, you're actually giving the chance for people to foster a pet for the
Yes.
night, have a sleepover, maybe for a few days. S'mores is one of those.
Yep.
So can you talk about that a little bit? Why y'all are doing that and what all that entails?
You bet. We happen to have a lot of pets, and dogs specifically, in care right now. We don't want those dogs to have to spend the holiday at the Pet Resource Center when they would normally be in foster care. So we're asking people to step up and just foster a dog for a few days from the 23rd through the 26th. Maybe you've got family in town, you'd like to have a little furry love for the holidays. S'mores and her compatriots can help you out that way. And that way our staff doesn't have to come and care for them during that time. But also they're home for the holidays.
Yes, for sure. And one thing that I feel like is so important about this, we were talking about earlier, it's a lot of responsibility to adopt a pet. It's more than just opening a box on Christmas morning and being surprised.
Yes.
And so you were saying sometimes the best fit for families is to find that fit first.
Yes.
And so can you talk about maybe why that is important to do? Maybe wait till after the holidays and find a dog that is a good fit for your family.
You bet. The more time you take to choose a pet, the more successful that choice is going to be. So it doesn't want to be a spur of the moment kind of thing. Think about the responsibilities of a pet, who's going to walk the dog, who's going to change the cat litter, that kind of thing. Are you ready for that? Is your household ready for that? And make those decisions before you actually choose.
Yeah, you know, also with pets and the Christmas season, obviously there's so many things going on inside the home, the Christmas trees, the meals. What are some ways that pet owners can be more safe, or if they're thinking about getting a pet, what are some ways they can prepare for that with their home?
Yes, Christmas in particular is a time when we have to be careful. The things that we eat, the things we decorate can be dangerous. Poinsettias are a poisonous flower, for example. The tinsel on a tree can be really appealing to a pet, but is not good for them. So we have to think about all of those things. The food we eat, if you're having turkey, you don't want them to get into the turkey bones. Things like chocolate and onions and grapes are really toxic for dogs. So it's best if you just limit what you're feeding them to what they're supposed to be eating, keep everything else up and out of the way, and watch your tinsel and decorations. Make sure they're not in a place where s'mores can get into them.
That's a really good advice. I didn't know about the turkey bone, so that's really good to know. So when it comes to maybe they're getting that new puppy, how can they prepare their home to bring them home?
Think about it. If you're bringing a puppy home, make sure you've got everything that puppy needs. The last thing you want to be doing is going and shopping for food and a bed and all of that after you've got the puppy home. So get ready for it. Get that bed, get the toys, get the food, everything that you're going to need for the puppy, and read up about how to raise a puppy. It does take a certain amount of work. Puppies can be smelly. They're going to make mistakes. They might make a mess. They might chew a shoe or two. So be ready for that. Study up on how to train that pup and get everybody in the household on board taking care of it.
With this foster event, obviously people might be seeing S'mores here this morning and they might be like, oh, I want to take her home for a few days. So how do they become a part of that? Do they just contact? What's the way to do that?
Yep, they can just reach out to us at Foster NWA, at Foster NWA at bestfriends.org and for the holidays, and our team will get back in touch with you and let you know when to show up. And you can meet, that's what she was after. You can meet some of our dogs that are in need of foster. We'll match you up with one that matches your situation at home. And then you can take a dog home for a few days.
And you were mentioning to us a lot of puppies are at the resource center right now, along with these sweet adoptable dogs. And so can you kind of talk about when all those puppies and dogs will be available? What do people need to do to adopt? What does that process look like?
You bet. Right now we have S'mores and some adult dogs. I think she's in love. We have S'mores and adult dogs that are ready for adoption right now. We have more than 60, almost 70 puppies in foster care right now. Some of them are 2 weeks old. Some of them are almost ready to be adopted. So after Christmas, there's going to be a puppy palooza at the center.
So maybe wait on the puppy. If you're not there yet, you can adopt one here shortly.
Yep, you can adopt one from Best Friends, get a gift certificate. Come to us and say, hey, we'd like to get a gift certificate. When the puppies are available, we'll come and meet them and choose at that time.
Awesome. Well, that is awesome. Great information. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hey, go get s'mores for Christmas. If I was going to be in town, I would do it. What a sweetie.
She's been really good.
Yes, she has.
She's very
well,
lovely.
thank you so much for joining us this morning. Have a Merry Christmas to both of you. And Danny, we're going to go ahead and send it over to you, but s'mores might beat us there. She wants you, Danny.
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah, it's going to be another nice afternoon for us here. Again, very mild temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for some, even close to 70 in the River Valley. For Northwest Arkansas, we'll get into the mid 60s for many. Then even overnight tonight, still staying pretty mild in the mid 50s as that south wind continues, as well as mostly cloudy skies. Maybe seeing a little bit of sunshine this afternoon, but otherwise I think that cloud cover could be pretty stagnant. For the River Valley, this is where we could see mid to upper 60s for the rest of the day and maybe some close to 70. And pretty similar low temperatures overnight for the River Valley because winds will be lighter than in Northwest Arkansas. And then for tomorrow, those are going to be the winds that are going to help us propel into maybe the 70s area wide. We could maybe see a spotty shower here and there for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, but most of us will stay dry. And even with that shower, it'll be pretty light. Temperatures, as I mentioned, in the low to mid 70s for many. We are going to see a little bit more sunshine during the afternoon tomorrow, but mostly cloudy for much of the day. And you can see that River Valley chance a little bit better during the morning. Otherwise, it clears out for us during the afternoon. And overall, looking pretty nice with very mild conditions.
All right, thanks, Danny. Looks like a great end to the week here. The time now is 12:52. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. 12:55, your top stories this midday. Right now, Fort Smith police are investigating a deadly shooting from the weekend. It happened on North 11th Street between Garrison and Grand Avenues. Police confirmed that one person was killed. The victim's identity has not been released and no suspect information is available at this time. Investigators say they believe the shooting was an isolated incident and there is no immediate danger to the public. The Arkansas Department of Agriculture is now investigating a confirmed case of bird flu in Cleveland County. It's in the south central part of the state where there are a large number of commercial poultry farms. Inspectors are already setting up quarantine zones and monitoring the nearby flocks. In just a few hours, Washington County officials will vote on a new proposed concrete mixing plant in Prairie Grove. Opposition groups plan to present a petition against the plant with over 1,000 signatures. It's out of concerns for its impact on their neighborhood. The proposal will be considered at 6 o'clock at the meeting at the Washington County Courthouse, We have not heard back yet from the project's developers. Let's take a final check on that forecast now for the rest of the week, the last full week of December, and it's looking to be a warm one, unseasonably so, of course, Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley around the same. Santa's going to want to ditch that coat and pick up the swimsuit because it's going to be a little too hot for all that, I think, this week. And of course, we want to make sure you're sticking with us on 5 News and 5 News Plus for all the latest on that forecast. Thank you so much for joining us for 5 News at 12:30 on the 5 News Plus streaming app. I'm Emily Moss, and we'll be back here tomorrow for your next newscast. And make sure you can also join us for 5 News at 4 later on this afternoon. Have a great rest of your day.